These are my little cards, and I would like them back at the end. And I hope they speak to you in a very deep way, because there's something about that for you in this moment right here, right now. And in the front of your table, there's a little bag and a deck of cards, and that will be the resources that we will be using to just work a little bit through the IDGs and the SDGs today. So the first thing that you need to understand is that I don't know you. My eyes have never met your eyes. My presence have never met your presence. I don't know why this word came to you as a highly, highly respected and well-educated individual. I don't know why you came to this leadership conference. I don't know, to this training. I do know as a fact that it's no coincidence that you are here. I do know as a very, very deep fact that the work that you are doing is shifting and bringing change to the continent of Africa and beyond. So with that, I'm very, very humbled to meet each and every one of you. And I invite you just to turn to the person next to you and just share with them, how does this word relate to you right now? It can be anything. It can be absolutely anything. But if you can turn to the person next to you, and I want you to tell them about your newest research paper or the groundbreaking discovery, I just want you to turn to the person next to you and just share with them, how does this word relate to you right now at this moment in time? Let's take 30 seconds to a minute to just quickly do that.
My word is obedience. If I come to that. So for the last 6 to 7 years, living in the flow. I say yes to what comes. Lately, I'm always doubting it still, saying, should I be more proactive? Like, shouldn't I do that? Shouldn't I be doing that? So, but I'm always like, no, but so far, just saying yes has taken that places that I couldn't have known it existed. So now I'm coming to a moment where 7 years or so, things change for me.
Okay. So you can start finishing off your conversation. Doesn't have to be clear cut. I hope you remembered.
You have to lift your hand and then stop talking. Here we go.
Feels like I'm back in grade school. Works like a bomb. I hope you remembered to thank the speaker, and I hope you remembered to thank the listener. And if you did maybe slip on that, maybe just turn and say thank you. Thank you for listening. Just acknowledge that person who was sharing with you, because I think that's something that we might miss in a very busy world. Okay, so now let's get down to business. Let's get down to the real relentless work. And for us to do that, you need to physically move everything out of your brain and put it to the side. Because a lot of that might be a blockage, and a lot of that might be irrelevant right now in context. So I really invite you to open here and move all of this to the storage. And my first question is, how many of you have heard about the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals? I'm going to do a little bit of a quiz, Q&A. So how many are there? 17. And by when do we want to reach these goals?
2030?
2030? Is there talk about 2050? Is there talk about procrastination of how we might just like move it on a little bit more? And they're all local goals, aren't they? I hear no. Why are you challenging me? You thought so? But you told me that you know about them.
Clearly not sufficiently, but I think they are international goals.
Okay, there's a thought that there are global goals. So are global goals not relevant at a local level? They are.
Not really.
Not really? What do you mean? Why? Why do you say that?
Because the good for the many might not be the good for the one. And that's why there is problems implementing SDGs. DGs.
SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals. Okay, that's also a perspective coming to the room. Now, I cannot tell you what it is and what it's not. Okay? But I can really ask you that if you want to make the work that you're doing relevant, to start looking into these goals. Because I have to tell you, a lot of you in this room with the work that you're doing, you are the gatekeepers that we actually need to solve these global development goals at a local level and also at a global level. Now I'm going to challenge you a little bit. I'm going to ask you as a group to open up these packs of cards in the front. And all 17 SDGs are in here. And I want you to choose for yourself which one of these goals are the most important goal that we need to solve right now. So you can kind of move them around. I would invite you to stand up and really move with the cards. But if you move them around, can you please find the most important goal for yourself and bring it to me? The one we need to solve. Only one. Which one are you going to be solving? Which one is really important for you? So I want you to choose the one that you think is the most important. Which one do you think is the most important? I want you to bring that one goal. You're saying good health and well-being is important? Which one are you choosing? Life on land. One for yourself. So there'll be 4 at this table. Only one. You have to make a good choice. Only one. Only one. Only one. Okay. Have you all chosen your one? Have you chosen that one goal that you think is important? Oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay, so once you've chosen your goal, let's put it up here. Can I invite you guys to bring your goals? I'm gonna hand you some press stick.
Oh, thank you.
and maybe you can help me give out some
Okay.
Prez stick. So I want you to take Prez stick, a small piece, and just put it under here. I'm really curious to what we think in the room are the most important global goals that needs to be solved right now from your personal perspective. So let's list them down here. Can I have an iteration of that? Can you do this for me? Can you just say what that is? What do you think it is?
Industry, innovation, and infrastructure.
So we're going to add something to that. I think it should be industry, innovation, and infrastructure. You want to try that for me, please? Can you say that?
I think industry, innovation, and infrastructure.
That's what we need to solve right now.
Yes.
Okay, put it on. That's what we need to solve. Industry, infrastructure. And you, ma'am?
I think it should be good health and well-being.
Oh, okay. You're thinking it's that. Put it on. Next. Shall we self-organize? And if you feel ready to put yours on, let's go.
I think it should be partnership. Achieve all these goals we're talking about.
You're saying we should put partnerships first. Okay. Connie, what do you think?
I think definitely quality education first. Has to be solved.
Can you say it again, Madam Director, with an attitude?
I think the most important goal that we need to solve now is to ensure quality education for all of Africa, especially, sorry to say.
Okay.
I also think the goal we need to solve right now is quality education.
Interesting. Nice.
Yeah, similar to my two other presenters. I think quality education is what we need to solve currently in Africa.
I think quality education is what we need to solve right now.
I think responsible consumption and production.
So responsible consumption and production is what we need in Africa right now. I'm going to put the most important thing in front of you, and that's the power of decision.
Yeah, for me also it's partnership for to attain the goals is the one we should make now.
So that's very key for you at the moment,
Yeah.
partnerships.
The partnership.
Shall we move them here? You can sit next to each other. Nice. You can build a pattern there. Okay, let's go.
For me, I think good health and well-being.
Good health and well-being. Nice.
Okay, for me, it's zero hunger. Nobody should be hungry.
I think everyone should eat zero hunger.
For me, climate action. Climate action.
Okay.
The most important sustainable development goal is good health and well-being.
Okay.
I think it should be clean water and sanitation because water is life.
Okay. Just want to move something here. Yep, keep going. Yeah, come.
I think what should work on now, it's life on land.
So we should support more life on land initiatives for.
Following my colleague here, definitely life on land. Not only support, but appreciate what we have at this area, especially Africa. We're untapped in terms of that.
Nice. Okay.
I think the priority SDG is no poverty.
No poverty. Okay, do we have any more cards? Any more cards? Only one. And sometimes it's a bit difficult, right? There's a bit of cognitive or emotional conflict. Okay, so you guys came up with very, very important areas that we need to research. We need to put all of our energy in there. We need to put our grants, our government, everything into no poverty. We need to look at Africa and the biodiversity of life on land. We need to look at good health and well-being. We need to focus on industry innovation and infrastructure. We need to have more responsible consumption and production in Africa. If we want to switch these or move these global goals, we need quality, equitable, and accessible education. We need climate action, and we need clean water and sanitation. And of course, we need to take care of zero hunger. And then number 17, we need partnerships. So this is very interesting because there's a consensus in the room about what we should be focusing on. But these are all the outer goals. These are all the things that you and your organization and your research team goes off and work on, right? Now, many of you might ask, what are the IDGs? And I'm going to put a divide in the room, and I'm going to ask you, if you know about the IDGs, can you please move to my left? And if you don't, can you move to my right?
I recently knew, so I have to be like, I am suspecting.
So it's very interesting, because look what these guys are doing. They're creating a gray. So can we have a very, very clear divide? I not this in between. Can you have a very, very clear opinion? You move this side first.
Can somebody please translate to French exactly what she said?
In French.
Some lost in translation.
But you definitely you're going to hurt this field.
Eric will help Aduko out.
IDG, oui. Bon, en général, est-ce que tu connais ou tu ne connais pas? Tous les gens là ne connaissent pas. C'est pour ça qu'ils sont partis là-bas.
Aduko, I was just about to have a coffee with you. I thought that we could go out on a date and we would just talk about the IDGs endlessly. But, okay.
I'm not spending here, I'm just taking a picture.
Yeah, I can imagine what it means. IDG. Yeah, for me. Should I say what I think?
Sure, if you would like to add what that is.
I think IDG would stand for individual development goals. So that's how I see it. Now, my personal goals, that's how I see IDG. I don't know if I'm correct or not, but that's what comes to my mind. Yeah.
So, yes, and. What does it take to raise a child?
Patience.
There's a very, very beautiful African metaphor.
A village.
A village? What do you mean a village?
Family.
Family. Ubuntu. I am, therefore we are. Elders. So when we take that I as someone who has a responsibility within the collective, we can also talk about the inner development goals that I have to have within the organization, within the community, within my place of work. So yes, when you stand in that I space, how do you stand there? And this is my next invitation to you. I'm going to invite you to open up the little bag at your table. I'm going to invite you to leave the booklet. And I'm going to invite you to take out the cards. You have a very beautiful smile. And then when you take those cards, I want you to bring the one inner development goal that you think, or what you think, and what you think after translation, okay? Which is fine. English is not my first language. I had to learn English a long time ago. And I want you to bring that inner development goal that you think in your I space that we need collectively to solve this. So I need you to go make a decision. What do we need in our inner space to tackle these massive problems in Africa? Hoe laat is dit nou? Okay. Okay, so let's give 4 minutes for this big decision. You're in parliament, you're in government, you're writing the research grant. Which of these inner development goals should we put forward? Oh, you chose yours? Let me see. You choose one from your space. So from your space, you're saying, guys, I believe it should be this. And you should say, I believe it should be this. So what is speaking to you when you look at these inner development goals? Hang on, we first want to hear your voice. Oh, that was very interesting. Wow, what a moment. There's a common mental model at least. But just don't leave it now, nobody takes it. Only one. This is the one you're bringing to the table. You're bringing it to the COP28, saying, I am bringing this. This is what we need for Africa. And when you're ready, you can move over here, because we want to hear your voice again. I think Eric is going to go first, and then shall we pass this around? Break and stick, break and stick. You're going to pass these around? Do you have yours?
We both choose
it. And he doesn't want to compromise.
Neither of you want to compromise?
Yes.
So can there be a collective second choice that you can share? So if you both have a second chance and you can share both of them together. Can you go together? No, you have to go together now. Make that choice. I don't know, as adults we do move slow and we go quiet, and it's very hard for us to go into this inner space, and it's uncomfortable and all of that. But within all of that, as a mother of a teenager and a 10-year-old, a 15 and a 10-year-old, I can't help but be extremely excited about this. And I cannot help to be extremely excited about the thought of when you bring the IDGs and the SDGs into your work, into your research, as a whole new paradigm of exploring and, excavating that life work, that passion that you have. So we're just waiting for our colleagues at the back to find consensus over a second choice. Okay, so your time's up and you need to make that decision now, please.
She was translating some of the things.
That's fine. Okay, so similar to the first round, but now I really want you to say, I believe. And you can't say that I believe, because I don't know if that's really what you believe. I do believe, right? That there's a lot of magic in this room. I do believe that you guys are actually already holding the knowledge, the framework, the skills, the values, and the attitudes to shift this continent beyond expectation. I believe that. And do you know why? And Eric is going to tell you why me and Eric believe that. Why? Why do you believe that, Eric?
I so believe that Africa needs courage.
Courage.
To make serious decisions about our future.
I'm getting goosebumps.
I also believe that I personally need courage to change many things that I see around me. And my entire life is defined by courage. So I so believe that nearly every challenge we have is literally because we don't even have the courage to confront them. So mine is courage.
I call courage to the world of academics. So you're telling me the goal we need, the IDG, this is the one we need now. So put it there, courage.
And all of you need to be courageous, including challenging authority.
So what I'm going to ask you to do, Eric, is I'm going to ask you to lock eyes with the next person and invite them to come to the front.
I only want to look for courageous people.
They might find you first.
The room is full of those.
You're all courageous. So I'll go for Valerie.
I believe that in our life and in this world, we must appreciate. There are many things that are happening and people are ungrateful and people can take things for granted. But if we stop and we think and we appreciate, and this will make the world an even better place. So I believe we must appreciate. Appreciation.
Appreciation.
Who next? Lock eyes.
Who appreciates?
Yeah.
I strongly, passionately, deeply believe that we as Africans need to make sense of our world, who we are, our future, our past, our culture, our language, our communities, and all the forces that surround us that tell us who we are, whereas we should be the ones making sense of who we are. It's very, very important, this sense making.
She even dressed for it. Look at her.
Sense of place. Beautiful.
Richard.
Thank you. I believe that for a long time we have lost our identity as Africans, and there is a need to really go back to speak to the minds, the hearts, the spirits of each one of us. So I believe this will take a long-term project, and we need to recast our visions. Most of the visions we have as a nation, as a continent, it's not very clear, it's very vague. So I believe that we need a long-term orientation and vision. Thank you.
Nice. Like that.
Okay, so Fritz.
I believe that I and we need integrity and authenticity in order to solve Africans' problem. We need to be true to ourselves. We need to be truthful to one another in order to solve this problem. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
So I really believe that we should be perseverant in everything we do. We stumble, we fall, we cry, but then we wake up and we continue.
Perseverance, yes.
Okay. My dear Wafa. So I will join her. So I strongly believe that we need perseverance because as Africans, we are facing a lot of challenges, you know, and we're supposed not to give up, but just to support each other and just to go ahead. So thank you.
Nice.
Anna.
Now, like Eric, I believe we need courage. Courage to pull us out of the cocoons where we have been put, the cocoons where we have put ourselves, and move Africa forward. So for me, courage.
And thank you for acknowledging that we don't have to be victims, that most of the time, we have put ourselves there. So thank you for acknowledging that.
Thank you.
In all of us.
Dan?
So, I believe these are all great. Passion behind it, courage, patience, and it's great. But without the ability to critically think, sometimes leave those emotions behind and drive forward with a plan and make it work. Africa will be a great place of all people talking about great things, but nothing get implemented. And through critical thinking is how you do it.
Okay. Critical thinking.
Both of you, there.
Okay. A bit of a complex situation, but this is what we want.
So we believe self-awareness and communication skills will make the world or improve our continent. I think that there are many problems, but we each have our own individual purpose. And you can only understand what your purpose is if you have self-awareness.
Would you like to add to that?
Yeah, what I can add is, I think it's difficult to confront the world if you do not know who you are. I think that's the biggest problem we have as Africans, that if we are to express ourselves, it's difficult if you do not know who you are.
And in terms of communication, I think we even see it in small organizations, large organizations, just even within families, that communication isn't there. People interpret what is being said incorrectly. So I think if we have better communication skills, we'll definitely better understand our problems and then better understand the solutions that are out there.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so in terms of communication, I think Africa needs to stop to be told what it needs to say. When we confront the world, I think we are in this cocoon where we're told what not to say, what to say, but the question is, what do we need to say?
So let's go under here with them. Thank you so much. So I don't know if you're gonna lock somebody double, but
I firmly believe that we all need empathy and compassion in order to solve the SDG goals. I feel very personally that we are all encouraging each other to develop ideas, to be innovative, be creative, but there's a small percentage of people where majority of the wealth lies and they lack this. And if there was wealth distribution, some of our problems would be solved.
Nice. I agree, it resonates so much.
Love someone.
Oh. Riha, thank you for choosing me. It's okay, thank you. Okay. Here, talking about intercultural competences, I read the statements called unity in diversity. So this does not mean we are different backgrounds. We are not going to do one thing successfully. No, look to us now, all of us from different nations and different backgrounds and different hobbies, but we are now in one place, working in the same goal, by the same meaning, and by the same powerful inside every of us. So I think every one of us has a wonderful inner power to move and to change himself first. And this is the unique thing. all of us admit about our faults and admit about weakness, but we are so strong now to move forward for something more stronger for all of us, not as the countries, but also as a nation in Africa. Thank you so much.
Just gonna applaud that.
À beaucoup.
I believe to transform and change Africa with integrity and authenticity.
Beautiful, Aduko. Integrity, authenticity. Nice.
Choose one.
Okay, thanks. I think enough we have courage, we have to but only our we are not connected.
Yeah.
We need this.
Beautiful.
Yes, okay. Who was? Ellen.
Thank you. Maybe if you haven't come to the front to make it easy.
I believe in openness and a learning mindset. If we are not open to learning, we cannot go anywhere. In life, life is a learning process. So if we can embrace learning from others, we'll be able to take Africa on top.
Would you, Helen, will you stick it on for us? Thank you.
Okay, I believe in communication to change my communication skill as well as the whole African communication, because if we don't express or communicate what we have, it will be hiding somewhere. So I believe in to transform the communication. I believe in mobilizing skills. Most of the time we work in silos, we don't engage one another, and I believe that if we are able to mobilize skills and work together, we bring the energy together and we are able to achieve a lot more. And that also talks to me at a personal level, the ability to engage the skills of others.
Nice.
I chose inclusive mindset and intercultural competence. So Africa, we are really diverse. And maybe in the past, this has been used to create separation, but our diversity is actually a strength if we can have an inclusive mindset.
Okay, so I see someone still with a card, 2 cards, 3 cards. So
I believe in it. Creativity.
Yes.
Break the norms. Ask the right questions. Draw into that diversity. Create and tap from my innate nature of creative. Yes.
So like Wafa and Karen, I believe in perseverance. And Obama said it. Yes, you can. Last person.
Okay, I believe in empathy and compassion. I believe if we are able to see that in whatever that you do, it affects somebody else, we would avoid these problems. So you see that whatever decision that I make, will it impact the other person next to me? But if you lack this, then we'll continue creating these problems even though we solve them.
okay, so it's almost lunch, so you have to give me at least 10 minutes to quickly wrap this up. Is that possible?
We have about, we can use 15 minutes.
15 minutes. So the few things I want to touch on And first of all, there was something very particularly mentioned about how do we not just talk? How do we actually take action? How do we actually do something in this space that's impactful, right? Because at this moment in time, for some odd reason, when you read climate change, or when you read climate change, you go to the reductionist viewpoint of it being a negative thing. Somehow, right here in our core, we've taken all of these words, all of these problems, and we have labeled them as something negative, right? And for today's purpose, I'm only bringing this invitation. I'm only bringing this invitation of the inner development goals to your periphery, okay? To ask you, how might you find that intersection in your research to be a better communicator? I actually want to challenge you within my invitation as a researcher to a researcher. How will you make your communication more authentic? How would you make that communication more aesthetic? How will you not only binary go to the white paper? How many of you are on LinkedIn? I hope to meet you there. I'm curious about that space. I'm curious about LinkedIn. I'm curious about us as academics with so much diversity, so much passion, so much to give. I really hold space for each and every one of you to have the courage, to have the sense-making, to have the appreciation for your work, for your words, for your thoughts, for your actions. I hold space to meet you in that collective space where we as Africa can communicate about the important things that needs to happen in a more aesthetic, inclusive, authentic way. And I want to just read something to you, because this is very important before I go. We, as an I, as an us, are not here because we can teach one another. I am not here to teach you anything about your inner space. Not at all. I respect that space and I will not move into that space without permission. But I am here to inspire you to learn more about that missing link that we have to the important work that we do. Why? Because right here, this inner development work, that's the real growth that matters. It's not the economic growth only. That is a byproduct. It is a natural consequence. How many of you can make money? Put up your hand. How many of you can make money? Put up your hand. Come on, can you make money? Put up your hand. Can you make money? Hands down. None of you can make money. You can make money. You have a money printer at your house. You can make money. You cannot make money. But your work,
That's manufacturing money.
that's making it, right? So we can get onto the semantics, but if you hang on and if you hold space for me in the presence, I want to tell you that if you find that intersection, this how might we move in between the money that already exists in this world, so that that money can be channeled and applied in the places, the spaces, the people, the initiatives where it matters. You cannot make it, but you can move it because you have everything. You have every single thing that you need. So in closing, there's two things. And I think you might answer this, how might we question after lunch? I'm not sure, Puleng. But my question is that so there's two things you need to do. One, you're going to have an exit ticket where you write down one thing that you're grateful for. One thing. It might be your kids. It might be the fact that you woke up this morning. It might be because the breeze is blowing outside and it's just really, really awesome to be back in South Africa after 6 years. I don't know what that is for you, but I really want to know. Because like I've said, I've never met your eyes. I've never met your presence. I've never met your thought. But now I have met you, and I would like to know more. But if you can hold on to this question, and maybe Puleng, I wasn't in the process of how the questions, but if we can hold this question of how might we start to be more aware, act on that awareness. You know how you can act on an awareness? You can go over to someone and say, I went to a workshop and they spoke about inner development goals. Have you heard about that? I just feel this feeling that I need to act on it and just like share it. But acting as rightfully, as you said, just give me your name again. Dan. As Dan has said, acting on it, that impulse of leaving this leadership workshop or training after this week, acting on it by word of mouth is not enough, right? Acting on it by just writing it in a research paper, it's not enough. I want to know, how might we do something about it? What are we going to do about this magic middle, right? What are we going to do about that? Because not only do we develop, and not only did I bring this to help you develop yourself, it is also an invitation to find out how might you be more aware, act, and do something with it. So that's in closing for me, the two asks. Your question, your gratitude, and then I can only leave you with so much reverence and gratitude for being here in your space, right here, right now. Thank you so much. Yeah. So let's get to work, ladies and gentlemen.
And I just want to say one sentence. If you want to see what she and Pete is doing, go to Bali. You won't believe it. Just go and visit her there.
We have accommodation and food, but you have to pay your own flight. And you might come back very different. That's all I can say. Cheers for family! Put it on, right. For being alive! Yes!
For my life!
Oh.
For being part of ASLB this year. Encounters.
Love.
Love. Beautiful.
Connections.
My wife and children.
Whoa, for wife and children. Beautiful. Yeah. For perfect timing. Education.
Opportunity.
For my family, for Nigel, for Lydia, everybody said family. It's family. Thank you.
I've been so much inspired with everything that is going on.
Inspiration.
I'm very grateful for my husband. He's taking care of my children and
that resonates.
My children.
Share.
For determination.
Mine's God.
Beautiful then.